In the charged atmosphere of American politics, where every move is scrutinized and every decision can shift the balance of power, few stories have captured the nation's attention quite like the ongoing saga surrounding the Special Counsel's investigation. At the center of this storm stands Special Counsel Jack Smith, a figure whose reputation for tenacity and impartiality has made him both a lightning rod and a symbol of accountability in Washington. Appointed to lead some of the most sensitive and consequential investigations in recent memory, Smith's work has drawn both praise for its rigor and condemnation from those who see it as politically motivated. Today, December 17, 2025, the scrutiny of his actions and decisions has reached a fever pitch, with the eyes of the nation and the world fixed on the outcome. Smith, a veteran prosecutor with decades of experience in tackling public corruption and high-profile cases, was tasked with investigating efforts to interfere with the peaceful transfer of power following the contentious 2020 presidential election. His mandate also included probing the handling of classified documents by former President Donald Trump, a matter that has fueled partisan debate and legal wrangling for years. After months of interviews, subpoenas, and legal maneuvering, Smith's final report was submitted in January. It stands as a historical record, meticulously compiled, deeply researched, and yet, perhaps inevitably, deeply divisive. The report is split into two distinct parts, one made available to the public, and another, still shrouded in secrecy, withheld from both lawmakers and the American people. The secrecy surrounding the second confidential section has ignited a political firestorm, with speculation and rumor filling the void left by official silence. Democrats and Republicans are now locked in a fierce battle over transparency, each side accusing the other of trying to manipulate the narrative for political gain and demanding access to the full report. As Jack Smith prepares to testify before Congress behind closed doors, the stakes could not be higher. Lawmakers from both parties are eager to press him for answers, hoping to gain an edge in the ongoing struggle for public opinion. The fight over Smith's unreleased work has become a proxy war for the nation's larger political conflicts, reflecting deep divisions not just in Washington, but across the country. As the debate rages on, the question remains: will the truth ultimately come to light, or will it remain hidden behind closed doors? Jack Smith's final report is split into two volumes, each covering a major prong of his investigation. This division reflects the complexity and scope of the issues at hand, as Smith and his team sought to address both the events surrounding the 2020 election and the handling of sensitive government materials. The structure of the report itself has become a focal point for legal experts and the public alike, as it signals the seriousness with which each matter is being treated. Volume 1, now public, details the efforts to overturn the 2020 election and the events leading to January 6th. It lays out a timeline of actions, communications, and decisions made by key figures, providing a comprehensive look at how the situation escalated. The release of this volume has given the public unprecedented insight into the inner workings of political power during a critical moment in American history. Its release fueled debate, but set a precedent for transparency. News outlets, legal analysts, and citizens have pored over its pages, sparking conversations about accountability and the rule of law. The openness of this volume has been praised by some as a necessary step toward restoring public trust in government institutions. Volume 2, however, remains sealed. Unlike the first, its contents are shrouded in secrecy, protected by ongoing legal proceedings and national security concerns. The decision to keep this volume confidential has only intensified public curiosity and speculation. It focuses on Trump's handling of classified documents at Mar-a-Lago. This part of the investigation delves into questions of how sensitive information was stored, who had access, and whether any laws were broken in the process. This part of the probe led to a criminal indictment, but legal delays have kept its findings secret. The ongoing court battles and procedural hurdles mean that the public remains in the dark about the full extent of the evidence and the implications for those involved. The secrecy has created an information vacuum, filled by speculation and political maneuvering. Pundits and politicians on both sides have seized on the lack of details to advance their own narratives, further polarizing an already divided nation. The public knows a significant portion of a taxpayer-funded investigation is hidden, and the reasons for that secrecy are now fiercely contested. Some argue that transparency is essential for democracy, while others insist that protecting sensitive information is paramount. The tale of two volumes has become a tale of two Americas, one demanding answers and accountability, the other insisting on confidentiality and caution. As the legal process unfolds, the nation waits, divided yet united in anticipation, for the full story to emerge. Democrats on the House Judiciary Committee are demanding the release of Volume 2. They argue the public deserves the full story, not a selective narrative. Representative Jamie Raskin leads the call, insisting that withholding the second volume misleads the public and undermines Smith's work. Democrats frame this as a matter of democratic principle. Transparency is essential for accountability. They suspect Republicans want to control the narrative by keeping the report secret until after Smith's closed-door testimony. Democrats fear selective leaks and political spin will distort the truth. For them, releasing the full report is about preventing history from being rewritten for partisan gain. They demand that Smith's complete findings be made public before any further political gamesmanship. Republicans counter that they're simply following a court order that keeps Volume 2 sealed, emphasizing that their actions are not about hiding information, but about respecting the legal process. They point out that the judiciary, not Congress or the media, has the final say on what can be released to the public, and that ignoring this would set a dangerous precedent. They argue the Department of Justice, under Attorney General Pam Bondi, is respecting the law and waiting for Judge Aileen Cannon's ruling. According to Republican leaders, the DOJ's hands are tied until the court makes its decision, and any premature release of information could undermine the integrity of the judicial process. Republicans accuse Democrats of pressuring the DOJ to defy the courts for political advantage. They claim that Democrats are more interested in scoring political points and influencing public opinion than in upholding the rule of law, and warn that such tactics could erode trust in the justice system. They see themselves as upholding the rule of law, while Democrats are playing politics. For Republicans, this is a matter of principle, standing firm against what they see as attempts to weaponize the legal system for partisan gain. Many Republicans view the entire investigation as a partisan witch hunt against Trump, designed to damage his reputation and influence the upcoming election. They argue that the constant calls for transparency are less about truth and more about creating a negative narrative. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche warns that releasing Volume 2 would violate regulations and unfairly smear the president-elect. He stresses that the rules exist to protect individuals from unproven allegations and to ensure that justice is served fairly, not in the court of public opinion. For Republicans, keeping the report sealed is about protecting due process and preventing a biased narrative from dominating public discourse. They argue that releasing incomplete or unvetted information could do irreparable harm, not just to the president-elect, but to the credibility of the justice system itself. Ultimately, they insist the decision must rest with the courts, not politicians, and warn that bypassing this process would undermine the very foundations of American democracy. The immediate flashpoint is Jack Smith's closed-door deposition before the House Judiciary Committee. Republicans say a private session is needed to discuss sensitive and classified information. Democrats argue this format allows Republicans to selectively leak and distort Smith's testimony. Past special counsels like Robert Mueller testified publicly. Democrats want the same transparency. Republicans see the deposition as a chance to question Smith about alleged bias and overreach. Democrats fear a perjury trap and a political ambush. The clash over the hearing's format highlights the deep mistrust between the parties. As Smith enters the room, he becomes the focal point of a battle over truth, secrecy, and institutional legitimacy. A new controversy has emerged. Republicans allege Smith's team used the FBI to secretly collect phone records of thousands, including members of Congress. If true, it would be a major overreach and raise serious privacy concerns. Republicans frame this as evidence of a deep state mentality and want answers about the scope and legality of the surveillance. Democrats counter that such methods are standard in complex investigations and require legal authorization. They argue collecting phone metadata is routine and court-approved, not spying. Regardless, the allegation is politically explosive, fueling distrust and shifting focus from Trump to the investigators. The deposition has become as much about Smith's conduct as about his findings. The fate of Volume 2 rests with U.S. District Judge Aileen Cannon in Florida, not with politicians. The document is sealed by court order, and the DOJ says it cannot defy the judiciary. Judge Cannon, who presided over the related criminal case, will decide by January 2026 whether to unseal the report. She must weigh public interest against grand jury secrecy, privacy, and national security. DOJ regulations discourage releasing details about uncharged individuals, a point raised by Deputy AG Blanche. The legal process is slow while political pressure mounts. Her decision will have enormous consequences. Release could reshape public understanding, while continued secrecy will fuel accusations of a cover-up. The nation waits as the legal and political battles play out. Washington is bracing for the fallout from Smith's deposition and the judge's upcoming decision. Leaks from the closed-door hearing are inevitable, with both parties spinning the narrative to their advantage. The January 2026 deadline for Judge Cannon's ruling is the next major milestone. Whether the report is released or remains sealed, appeals and further legal battles are likely. The fight over the Smith report has become central to the broader partisan war in Washington. Republicans will keep investigating the investigators, while Democrats push for transparency. The outcome will shape public perception of the Trump investigations and set precedents for future special counsels. The nation is bracing for impact, whether from leaks or a court-ordered bombshell. The conflict over Jack Smith's secret report is about more than partisanship. It's about the balance between secrecy and the public's right to know. Confidentiality protects investigations and individuals, but too much secrecy erodes public trust. Transparency is vital, especially in matters of national importance. Both sides invoke important principles. Republicans cite the rule of law and judicial orders. Democrats demand a complete historical record. The controversy reflects deep divisions in American society and the fragility of public trust. When institutions are seen as partisan, their effectiveness suffers. The battle between secrecy and transparency is ongoing, a constant negotiation in democracy. How this chapter ends will reveal much about America's commitment to both justice and openness.